Chapter 11. May, Mia, and Yang followed Queen Iris through the forest as she led them towards the shapeshifters' kingdom. The fairies had gifted them with magical items to aid in their journey, and May felt her spirits lift with each step. However, the journey took an unexpected turn as they stumbled upon a group of humans blocking their way.
"These are the ones who seek to save the shapeshifters?"
One of the humans sneered.
Pathetic.
May and Mia tensed, ready to fight, but Queen Iris stepped forward. "These are powerful immortals, and they have my support. Leave now or face the consequences." The humans laughed, but then one of them stepped forward, a dark glint in his eyes.
"You don't understand, fairies. We've been promised great power if we capture these three and hand them over to our master."
May and Mia exchanged a look of disbelief. Who could possibly want them dead? And for what reason? Yang shifted into a bear and let out a roar, but the humans were unfazed and charged forward. May and Mia called upon their magic, combining their powers to create a powerful shield around themselves and Yang. The assailants bounced back, surprised by the strength of their magic. But just when they thought they had the upper hand, something unexpected happened. One of the humans stepped forward, removing his hood and revealing himself to be Yang? Mia gasped in shock, unsure of what was happening. The Yang she knew was by her side, not fighting against her. Yet the imposter Yang stood before them, smirking with satisfaction. "I've been waiting for this moment," he said, his eyes glinting with a dark power. May and Mia exchanged a look of understanding. This imposter must have been the one behind the shapeshifters' capture, and he had been manipulating them this entire time. With a newfound determination, May, Mia, and Yang launched themselves forward, ready to fight with all their might. But it was clear that the imposter Yang was a formidable opponent, and they were struggling to keep up with his attacks. As the battle raged on, May and Mia could feel their power draining, and they knew they couldn't keep this up forever. But then, just as all hope seemed lost, a bright light enveloped them, and they felt a surge of strength coursing through their veins. Looking up, they saw Queen Iris standing in front of them, a look of determination on her face. "It's time to end this," she said, and the three immortals knew what they had to do. Together they launched themselves forward, channeling all their power and magic into one final blow. The imposter Yang let out a scream of defeat as he was engulfed in a bright light and disappeared. Panting and exhausted, May, Mia, and Yang collapsed to the ground. But they knew that now, more than ever, they had to stay alert and continue fighting for the balance of magic, for there were still dangerous forces out there, waiting to strike. Chapter 12. As they resumed their journey, the trio couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. The forest around them grew darker and more twisted, making it harder to navigate. Yang in his white tiger form led the way, while May and Mia walked closely behind. Suddenly a sharp pain shot through Yang's body, and he stumbled, losing his balance. Mia quickly rushed to his side.
"Yang, what's wrong?"
Yang growled in pain. "Some kind of spell is affecting me. I can't shift back to my human form." May closed her eyes and chanted, using her magic to sense their surroundings. "There's an aura of dark magic around us. It's emanating from that direction." She pointed to a clearing up ahead. The trio advanced carefully, aware of the danger lurking in the darkness. In the clearing, they saw a group of shadowy figures gathered around a cauldron, chanting in unison. Mia gasped.
"Those are dark witches. They must be the ones responsible for this spell."
Yang roared, lashing out with his paws, but the witches were too strong for him to take on alone. May focused her magic, creating a shield around them, while Mia drew her bow and aimed at the witches. The witches countered with their own spells, but May's shield held strong, deflecting the attacks. With a powerful wave of her hand, May blasted the witches with a bolt of lightning, causing them to scatter and flee. The aura of dark magic dissipated, and Yang felt his strength returning, allowing him to shift back into his human form. Relieved, Mia hugged Yang tightly.
"Are you okay?"
Yang smiled. "Thanks to you, I am." May looked around warily.
"This is just the beginning. We need to stay vigilant, or we may not be so lucky next time."
The three of them shared a determined look, knowing that their battle was far from over. They continued on their journey, prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 13. As they continued their journey, May noticed a growing rift between Yang and Mia. Yang was distant, lost in his thoughts and memories. Mia, on the other hand, became more short-tempered and defensive. May tried to talk to them, but they avoided her gaze and conversations. One day, as they crossed a vast plain, they heard a loud roar coming from a nearby cave. Intrigued, they approached the cave cautiously. Inside, they found a dragon, wounded and in agony. Mia immediately reached for her bow, ready to attack, but Yang stopped her, saying that the dragon was not a threat. He approached the dragon and examined its wounds. May joined him, and together they used their magic to heal the dragon's injuries. The dragon thanked them and told them about a powerful sorcerer who had been attacking all magical creatures. The sorcerer had already destroyed many kingdoms and was now heading towards their world. Mia scoffed at the dragon's words. She claimed that it was not their problem and that they should focus on their own mission, to restore the balance of magic. Yang was torn between the two. He understood Mia's logic, but he also knew that they had a responsibility to protect all magical creatures, not just the ones that benefited them directly. May tried to mediate the situation, but the rift grew wider, and Mia stormed off, muttering something about the foolishness of getting involved in someone else's problems. Yang remained with the dragon, determined to help. May followed him, torn between her loyalty to Yang and her respect for Mia's opinion. As they left the cave, they heard a dark laughter coming from the shadows. The sorcerer had found them. Chapter 14. As May, Mia, and Yang continued to argue about their next move, something unexpected happened. A bright light surrounded them, blinding them momentarily. When it dissipated, they found themselves in a strange place. The forest was familiar, but different. The trees were darker, and a thick mist hung in the air. The trio looked at each other in confusion, unsure of what had just happened.
"We're not in the same place anymore,"
May said, her voice trembling. "Something must have transported us. But who could have done this?" Yang replied, scanning the area in search of any sign of danger. Mia looked around, her bow at the ready.
"We need to be careful. This place feels wrong."
As they walked further, they noticed that the magical creatures in this forest were behaving strangely. The fairies were silent, and the centaurs were nowhere to be seen. Even the trees looked sickly, with their leaves brown and shriveled. Suddenly, a figure appeared before them. It was a hooded figure, shrouded in darkness, and they couldn't see its face. "Who are you?" Yang demanded, ready to defend his loved ones. "I am the guardian of this forest," the figure replied, "and I have brought you here because you are the only ones who can save it." May, Mia, and Yang exchanged wary glances. They had faced many challenges before, but this felt different.
"What do you need us to do?"
May asked, stepping forward.
"You must find the source of the darkness that plagues this forest and destroy it. Only then will the balance of magic be restored."
With that, the figure disappeared into the mist, leaving the trio feeling more confused than ever.
"We have to do something," Mia said, her voice determined. "We can't let this darkness continue."
May and Yang nodded in agreement, and they set off deeper into the forest, ready to face the unknown. Chapter 15. May, Mia, and Yang looked around in confusion as they tried to make sense of their new surroundings. The forest was different from any they had seen before. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches covered in thorns that seemed to move and lash out at anyone who came too close. The ground beneath their feet was blackened and barren, as if all the life had been sucked out of it. The hooded figure stepped forward and spoke in a low voice. "You must find and destroy the source of the darkness that plagues this forest. It is the only way to restore balance to this world." May opened her mouth to ask more questions, but the figure had already disappeared into the shadows. Yang looked at his companions, a determined look on his face. "We have to find that source and destroy it," he said. "Whatever it takes." Mia nodded in agreement, her bow at the ready. We will do whatever it takes to restore balance to this world. We cannot let darkness consume everything. May nodded solemnly, knowing that their task would not be easy. But they had faced countless challenges before, and they would face this one together. As they walked further into the forest, the darkness seemed to close in around them. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and shadows moved just beyond their vision. They could sense the source of the darkness getting closer, and they quickened their pace. Suddenly, they burst into a clearing, and there it was, a black, pulsing orb of pure darkness hovering in the air in front of them. May could feel the power radiating from it, and she knew that it would be no easy task to destroy it. But they were not alone. A group of magical creatures had gathered in the clearing, ready to fight alongside them. Centaurs, shapeshifters, and even a few dragons stood at the ready, their eyes fixed on the black orb. May, Mia, and Yang drew their weapons, ready for the final battle. They charged towards the orb, their companions at their side, and the darkness shattered under their combined might. But May knew this was only the beginning. The battle for balance would never truly be won, but they would always be ready to fight, together.